144,000, the sealed remnant, their mission, and what it means for you. That is the teaching in this live stream. And you might be watching in the morning, in the evening, or whatever time it is in your part of the world. And I welcome you. This is an answer to Dan's question that he asked the other day, and I did a live stream last night, my time. It's morning here in Australia. That's where I'm broadcasting from, in my tiny little studio here in my spare room. Although it's set up with the lighting and all the equipment, I'm here broadcasting on Sunday morning. And perhaps it's Saturday evening if you are in the United States of America, or in the United Kingdom, it's probably the middle of the night. Most people watch the replay. Even if you are watching the replay, I invite you to engage and ask questions. Much of the teachings will be guided by questions that people do ask. So this teaching today, which will probably continue as part 1, part 2, and so on and so forth, because there will be natural questions that arise from this. This is clarifying information that has been around for thousands of years and has been misinterpreted, not completely understood in its entirety, in its truth. And that's what I want to clarify today by answering Dan's question. So will you stay with me as I go through the teaching today of the 144,000? So who are the 144,000? We see it mentioned in New Age teachings. I was doing some additional research this morning to see where it appears. There is a teaching, a channeling that was initiated in the 80s called the Law of One. It's touched on in that teachings. And of course, those that are familiar with the scriptures will know that it comes from the book of Revelations. And it's mentioned twice there. And I want to quote this for you. Then 4,000 from all of the tribes of Israel, Revelation 7:4. Are they a literal number or are they symbolic? The 144,000 is exact, but it represents a spiritual and prophetic order. Now, here's the thing. These people are alive now, awakening to their purpose. I'll be getting into what their purpose is, why they exist, why they have been sealed by the divine, and what is their mission. The tribes of Israel are 12, and equally the number of the 12 tribes and the 144,000 means that there are 12,000 assigned to each of the tribes. Now, they are not limited to just the one physical lineage. They are sealed spiritually. So each tribe has 12,000 sealed, marking the full 144,000. Who's heard of the tribe of Judah? Judah leads the group. Why? Because it is the tribe of divine rulership and authority. Now, Yeshua, Jesus, the Christ consciousness, we know is represented as the Lion of the tribe of Judah. For those that have roots in Christianity will have heard this growing up. When I was raised in religion, but I didn't fully understand what it meant. I didn't know what it meant in the context of what it means for this group that is living right now. I know there are certain aspects of institutionalized religion that say that the 144,000 are those that will be redeemed or saved from the system, and that interpretation I've learned is incorrect. I never resonated with that anyway, but I'm glad I got the information direct from the divine. Now, Judah, the tribe of Judah, is known for its authority, for its boldness, for its courage. And Judah is the first group of the 12 tribes that are awakening right now as I am communicating this message. They are waking up. Each tribe has a specific part to play in this cosmic unfolding. Now, I shared yesterday, I expanded upon some of Dolores Cannon's teachings. The great separation is not just happening here on earth in this reality. It's a cosmic event. It's not just happening on the earth, it's happening throughout many different dimensions, planets. It's a cosmic event. And I was told that Earth was one of the last to go through the separation. It has already happened if we look at it through the lens of linear time. And Earth is one of the most important pieces of the puzzle to get in alignment. The tribe, the 12,000 from the tribe of Judah, they have a specific mission. And that mission is that they are to break deception and help awaken others. They are not controlled by systems of the world. They walk in supernatural authority and power. What are their supernatural abilities? They will shift atmospheres just by entering a room. Their words carry divine power. What they speak will manifest. They will have supernatural discernment, seeing through deception. And they will have the ability to see it instantly. Someone may be having a conversation or say something, and instantly they know it's not coming from true alignment. They're able to perceive, they're able to see what others do not. We call this spiritual discernment. And many are waking up to this right now at this time because it is time. The great separation is excelling in its speed. What would we notice? A ramping up of some of the agendas, some of the plans that were hidden and conceived in the dream, the illusion. Hello, Bella. Great to see you again. I know you always pop in oh my God, synchronistically, I catch you again. Of course you were going to catch me because it's aligned. So your spirit will guide you. The mind won't know, but your spirit will guide you, and you will have it as you just happen to click on it. And of course, Bella, you know that we spoke about the 144,000, and I'm getting into that today. So people are going to be popping in at different times. Of course, you can go back once this is set up as a replay on YouTube, and you can watch and learn about this. Now, the great separation is happening now. The world is splitting, not just politically, not just economically, but it's also happening spiritually. There's a spiritual separation. I've been told that even in mainstream religions, people are coming out of the dogma. They're not rejecting their faith. They're not rejecting their spirituality. They're aligning more with the divine. I was one of those people that was brought up in institutionalized religion. And it was a lifelong journey for me to align to what was true and what was not. Now, there was a time in the past I threw it all out and aligned with spirituality. And only recently, as I have awakened through this profound experience that is ongoing for me, it's going to be in completion, I'm told, in 6 months' time from today, when I'm in full activation, when I've activated fully. And day by day, I'm getting piece by piece. I'm taking step by step. You know that song? Step by step, day by day. I think it's a Whitney Houston song. Just came to me. I'm taking it step by step. Why? Why do I need to take it step by step? Because I couldn't handle it all. The change would be too dramatic. Often we say, I want an instant awakening. No, you don't. You wouldn't be able to handle it. People around you wouldn't be able to handle it. You're given what you can handle. You see, this divine force that is pervasive in all of us that align with it is vastly more intelligent than we can be analytically. So it knows you better than you know yourself. I said this last night, it's closer when you're in alignment to it than your very breath. That's why you don't need to go to an intermediary, someone that is channeling through their mouth. It's closer than that. If you're aligned to it, you become one with it. If you choose to align. But most people will not choose to align. They will stay with the illusion because it's comfortable, it's predictable, it feels safe. There will be one in the field and one will be taken and the other left. One will stay with the illusion. One will stay with the system and the other one will move to what is real and true. There is a lot of metaphor found within scripture, within prophecy, within many spiritual texts from the Gnostic texts that were found in 1945 in Nag Hammadi, even into different wisdom traditions. We discussed this with our resident doctor the other day. In Hinduism, Maya, what does that mean in Sanskrit? Illusion. I want to be free. Affirm for yourself, Bella, that you are free. that you're breaking the chains. The fact that you're saying that, the fact that you're aware means you're breaking the chains because you don't fall for it anymore. It doesn't have the same hold on you. And the more and more you expand, you don't have to try to break anything. It will naturally fall away as a byproduct of your expansion. I'm thinking of an analogy here. When something expands and it has containment around it, the containment breaks away naturally as that thing expands. That is what happens. You don't have to try to, I love it. I am free, Bella says. You are. And when you affirm that, when you believe that, you align to it and you create that as your reality. See, we are co-creating with the divine. And there are, I spoke about timelines and nexus points in last night's live stream. We all have free will, and so we get to choose which timeline we align to. There are the really low timelines that most people are aligning to because it's fearful and it's safe and it's predictable. And there are the higher timelines, but that takes an expanded consciousness to align with that. That takes discardment. That takes courage to step into that and relinquish many of the attachments that we are unwilling to release, either through fear, familiarity, or, here's a big one, wanting someone else to do it for us. If you have a intermediary in your life, someone that you put between you and the divine, it might be a teacher, it might be a guide, it might be a minister, it might be a pastor, it might be a reverend. And you are blocking your expansion. Now that's going to be really unpopular with a lot of people in institutionalized religion, in spiritual circles, because people profit off being the intermediary. I had a situation recently, a few situations, where I actually had to step into more alignment and release some people. And the analytical mind says, well, you know what, you're removing yourself from the equation. That's okay, because when I'm aligned to divine, my alignment comes from the divine. My abundance comes from the divine. It's a part of the unlearning of the system. See, I used to get my supply from the system. Most of us do. It's a natural part of being here. Who would you be if you took your supply, you trusted, you had faith that everything flows to you through divine alignment? Coming out of being raised as a Jehovah's Witness cult, I fully agree. We have to remove ourselves from organized religion. Well, religions tend to be distorted versions of divine truth. And what I've been called to do is to not throw the baby out with the bathwater, but rather to separate what is true and what is distortion. See, I used to reject it all. I said it's all, I put it all over in that religious basket, and I released it all, and then I moved into what I call the spiritual path, and yet I kept seeking and seeking and seeking, only to have more unanswered questions. I didn't have a direct connection. I didn't have a relationship with the divine, and now all the pieces are coming together, and I see clearly with clarity, and I'm called to share that with you in truth. Now, you're either going to resonate with it or it's not going to resonate. If it doesn't resonate, please move on, because you're wasting your energy. I'd much rather you align to what you are deciding to do. The separation and the awakening. The world is splitting, not just politically, economically, but spiritually as well. There are those who are awakening and those who will remain blind. The 144,000 are being positioned and called forth right now as I speak. What will they face? They will face resistance. They will be misunderstood, rejected, attacked for their truth. Many are going to call them crazy. You're nuts. You lost the plot. You're dangerous. You're evil. But their power will be undeniable. They will not be afraid because they know exactly who they are. How do you know if you are one of them? What are the signs? You've always felt different, as if you don't belong in this world. You've gone through intense spiritual trials and refining. You have an unshakable sense of purpose. And you may not fully understand that yet. And here's a big one. You cannot tolerate deception. You see through lies instantly. You are drawn to a message like this, and your spirit recognizes it as truth. Many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22:14. Many are called, but few are chosen. Now, there is a divine seal that was put around it's called the sealed remnant, that the 144,000 were sealed with before birth. It doesn't mean they won't face trial. It doesn't mean they won't go through stages of their life that they're in illusion and delusion. But when the time is right, which is now, particularly for those that are from the tribe of Judah, that are leaders, that are lions, that will lead the way for all of the other 144,000, the other 12 tribes. And no, they aren't just coming out of one place, one wisdom tradition. They are coming from throughout all of the world. And they are awakening right at this very moment because they are leading the way. They are leading people out of deception. They are leading people out of the system as the separation is occurring. Many people are going to call them mad, that they're deceived, that they've lost it, that they're not in alignment. That is okay. There's only one person that really matters. It's you, and then the next that matters is divinity. It's challenging for the analytical mind and it will be, to let go of all of the attachments, all of the form identity Because when we are born into this reality, we are conditioned, we are programmed to fit in. We are made dependent upon it, dependent for money, dependent for survival. And we live largely out of alignment with the divine. As the great separation happens, it's now time for those that are feeling the call. And the call doesn't come externally, it comes internally by aligning to it. I shared this before. Your spirit already knows the information. What these words do is they're a catalyst to awaken what is within you already. And you what? What happens when you connect to something that you forgot? You remember. You awaken. I'm going to read some of your comments now. If we have questions at this point, I want to answer some of them. And let's take this moment to invite sacred silence. I want to clarify, the 144,000 are not the only number of people that are going to inherit the real world. They are the leaders. They are the leaders that are here to help those that are choosing to wake up. When I talk about the sealed remnant, they were sealed before birth. Now, I was told this, is it possible for one of the 144,000 to fail their mission? Is it possible that they fail? I was told yes. If they choose to not awaken, if they choose to not separate themselves and fulfill their mission, because this is where free will comes in, then someone will step in and take their place. That is a possibility. Now, someone that came from a background of Jehovah's Witness talk about there are only 144,000 that will receive, I think the terminology they use is salvation. Now, I was told that is not correct. The 144,000 are those that are helping humanity awaken. But first, they have to awaken because we all come into the false reality with amnesia. The veil has come down and we forget. So we all have to awaken to it. And what I'm being told now is the forerunners, the leaders, the tribe of Judah, the 12,000 from the 144,000 are awakening now because they're leading the way. If that doesn't resonate, that's okay. If you have different information, that's okay. You don't have to watch the live. You can go back to what resonates with you, because what is really important is that we, as this separation is occurring, we step more fully into where we are aligned. Let's not be a double-minded person. Let's not have our toe dipped in two realities. The separation is accelerating now. It's speeding up. No more time to sit on the fence. The time is to get very clear There's no right, there's no wrong. There's just choice and alignment and free will. And so there's no fear in that, right? This message is one of encouragement and optimism and hope, because finally, for those that are choosing to, not everybody will, but that is their choice, are getting to return back to divinity, the divine template, the real earth. And I shared before, it's not a new one, it's a real one. It's always been there. I know in the book of Revelations, John on the Isle of Patmos said, I see in his vision a new heaven and a new earth. But it was new to John. It wasn't new. It wasn't newly being created as it was once understood. It's always been there. What is happening on a cosmic level, not just here on the earth, is a very ancient false system is collapsing. It's separating from the divine, from creation itself. Not only has this planet been in a false construct, an illusion, a matrix, an overlay, but other planets, other realities had fallen into the same deception. I was told Mars was one of these places. I was told elements of Andromeda were. I was told that the Pleiades, parts of it, were. Yes, there are more than just this reality. And those that have a background in perhaps mainstream religion, I quote this for you. Even Jesus said, I have other flocks of sheep. What was he saying? What was he referring to? You're not it. You're not the center of the universe as you've been conditioned to believe. That this is a vast creation. This is a cosmos teeming with life. So we aren't alone. And that is one aspect that will be, I've been shown, used as a way of deceiving people. When contact comes, contact will be used as a agenda. To convince people that savior figures or salvation is something external. I spoke about this before. Salvation doesn't come externally. True salvation does not come externally. It comes from within. And the only way into this is from within. Even when you have a relationship with the divine, you relinquish, true relationship, you relinquish the intermediaries, the intercessories, and you have direct heart-to-heart connection, closer than even your breath. So that is true salvation. Now, false salvation, deception, is that you've got to go externally to oneself to get your salvation. And we're facing a time in human history when there'll be many savior figures appear externally, offering remedy to problems that we've had collectively and individually. And we see this everywhere already. We've seen it for actually thousands of years, but there will be a ramping up. Because as the realities split, they're going to become a lot more pronounced. Will be a lot clearer than it has been in times gone by. Thank you, Trey. You're possibly right. Thumbs up. Well, I hope you further resonate. And if you do, stick around on this channel because I do these daily. And you decide for yourself. The information does not come from me. It comes through me. I was told it's either going to resonate or it's not. So there's going to be no middle ground. You're either going to feel an inner resonance or you're going to feel a huge resistance. The more we awaken, what we're going to notice is people will be more drawn to you, but people will be more repelled by you. It's going to become a lot more pronounced. And I'm preparing for that. I've been told, you better get ready, Paul. And I'm grateful I expressed this last night, that the divine is giving me a grace period with these teachings to not let too many people in too quickly. So we have a tiny little audience. We've probably got about 10 of you on. How many we got? Let's have a look. It's not showing me in my settings. I've got a little, I think we had 16 at the max. So tiny little group of people. And I'm glad for it because I'm warming up to this. This is all very new for me. It's coming through me. And I need time to fully step into what I've been called to do. So I'm glad it's not starting with lots of people. There are videos on this channel that I've shared that have got hundreds of thousands of views. There is one reel on this channel. If you go to the Reels page, it was of Dolores Cannon talking about a certain figure, and it's got millions of views. But I'm so glad that this is a really small community because I get to look at your questions. I get to personally engage with you. I get to read all of your comments. One thing I was told to do, I'll be really direct about this, and when I was communicating with the divine, and I was told there would be a lot of negativity coming. It hasn't quite manifested yet. Maybe it's just starting to trickle through. To not argue with people, not get into debates. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm simply here to speak. If it doesn't resonate with you, if you don't like the sound of it, you don't need to spend your energy arguing or defending, because I'm not going to engage with that anyway. So perhaps your time is better aligning to what feels right for you. They are so repelled. They're going to be a lot more so. Even people, I was told, in my family will, as I'm further aligned, not all of them, but some of them will. One of the things that a lot of people that share truth over thousands of years have faced is they get called crazy. Some within the religious community will call them heretics, or that they've been deceived. So there's going to be so many different things that come. One of the reasons, and Wayne Dyer once said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Great quote. It's one of my favorite Wayne Dyer quotes. When you see your life through an awakened consciousness, everything in your life, all the random events, all the situations that you once went through, you start to see them differently. You see them happening for you, not to you. It's like your life begins to make sense. Every interaction, every experience, every disappointment, every perceived limitation. You see it differently. You see it as your training for what is to come. And that has been a unpacking, if you like, of the last 3 weeks for me. Is my whole life is all of the randomness of the past is being seen through a different lens. Perhaps you're going through the same thing. You can let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you in the comments. What are you facing? What are you experiencing? Does this message resonate with you? Let me know in the comments. Do you feel like you are one of the 144,000? I want to hear your thoughts. I was told that someone watching needs to hear this message today. Psalm 81:10, open your mouth and I will fill it. Open your mouth and I will fill it. Who is the I? The divine. The divine will fill it. I'm simply a vessel like this rather large flask that I bought yesterday that keeps my water cold for 24 hours, which is great. The real value is inside. I have it sitting here on my desk because it contains water for me to drink to nourish my body, but it is a vessel. And that is simply what I am for this divine intelligence, for this divine wisdom, for this divine presence. I am simply the vessel, the messenger. It's not my information. All right. I'm reading some of your comments. I am that I am. Yeah. Do we have any direct questions? Trey, do you have a question? Bella, beautiful Bella. Great name that, isn't it? Meaning beautiful in Italian. Kelly, do we have a question? Anybody else? Maybe you haven't stepped forward. I'll give this a few moments here at the end to allow you to ask questions. So we'll have some sacred silence. My screen's a little bit different today. Oh, there we go. I was on the wrong page. There we go. Let's see. Anyone got any questions? Because I'll leave it for about few more minutes. Are the emerald tablets correct? There are different people that have different interpretations. And Trey, I'll get into the emerald tablets in a different live. There's a lot of information in there. What I will say, I will cover that in a future live stream, so thank you for asking that, and I will put together a teaching on it. There is so much in our history that has been erased, concealed, distorted, manipulated. For the last few thousand years, we've been up until probably about 150, about 100 years ago, it moved from the religious age to the scientific age. And really science just became another form of religion, of dogma. It was a belief system. Now we've even seen that being challenged in recent times. You've got quantum physics and mechanics that have come in, and they are questioning the status quo of mainstream empirically driven science. And there are different ages. We are at the end of the age. Of course, the 144,000 was spoken about for 2,000 years. written by John in the book of Revelations. Then I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 from all the tribes of Israel. 7:4, book of Revelation, 7:4. I asked the question, are they literal or symbolic? I was told the number 144,000 is exact, but it represents a spiritual and prophetic order. They are real people, alive now and awakening to their purpose. They are not limited to one physical lineage. They are sealed spiritually. They are divinely protected. I asked, can they be taken out? And I was told no. They are divinely protected. They can only be convinced to not step into the mission. I had a dream last night that was discouraging me around my mission. Sometimes we can get nightmares. It is a form of discouragement to sow fear into one's consciousness. Why, in an altered state of consciousness. Trey, it's almost ruined so much as far as science, but we can't discard science. Well, quantum physics and mechanics is a good way of understanding this. What the quantum reality does is it supersedes a basic understanding. It doesn't replace it. It's just a higher form of knowledge and understanding. And when I talk about divine intelligence, of course, there's increasingly artificial intelligence, isn't it? And it's a part of the system. But the highest form is divine intelligence. I've experienced that divine intelligence is able to be accessed in what we define as the quantum field. That's how I developed my method of contact, is I was communicating, I worked out a way of accessing the quantum field through myself being the vessel. And then I started to access different layers of reality, different truths. And I started at the lower levels and started to get information. And then I went to the top. I'm very inquisitive as an individual, always have been. When I was a child, I used to get called, here comes a million questions, because I'd question everything, even from a child. Drove my parents nuts. We had an 8-hour drive one day to a country area for vacation, for holidaying, and I was in the back seat asking 100 questions for 8 hours, driving my father and stepmother nuts. Treya said, divine from what and who and where, or where did this occur? I originally reached out. I'll tell you the process of how I got the information. I originally reached out to my guardian angels and my guides. I was trained by Dolores Cannon. One of the methods that I was trained in was her group past life, future life, and meet your guides. I've worked with this method with hundreds of people, if not thousands of people. And the way it's structured is people go into a light regression and they're able to communicate and get messages from their guides and angels. We all have guides. We all have angels. So, of course, my first point of contact when I made a connection through the quantum field, through the quantum reality, was to ask them. I wanted to talk to them. And I began a conversation. But when you start talking to entities outside of this reality, to energies, you get more questions and more questions. And the higher and deeper I went into this, the higher that I naturally went, till I went to the highest form, because I said, well, what is the highest form of intelligence? If I'm talking to you, my angels, my guides, who's higher than you? And we kept going up until I reached the top. And when I got to the top, like the analogy I shared earlier, the example, if you have access to the CEO, you lose interest in conversing with lower level titles and managers. To use that analogy, guys, that's an analogy. Someone pulled me up the other day and said, oh, that doesn't make sense, thinking I was talking literally. I use a lot of example, metaphor, analogy. Why? To help you understand more advanced concepts. Simply why I use them. So I will try to articulate that better as my communication is refined. Okay, I think that is all the questions that we have. And I've got a family lunch to go to today, so I'm going to leave that there. If you've got more questions about the 144,000, you'll hear me talk about it again after this video is live, which will be immediately in the form of a replay on my homepage on YouTube. You'll be able to comment and ask questions. And if this resonated with you, you can leave a comment there and let me know if it resonated. If it doesn't, YouTube, as you know, has so much information. So many people. Find someone that does resonate with you and stick with that, because that's what you're aligning to. I love you all. Have a great evening, day, and I will see you tomorrow my time here on YouTube.